Karibuni, welcome, tuelimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii, tuchunguze sana mbalimbali, tujuze juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, wapa burudani kwa familia nzima.
And good evening, Lumumba. Welcome to Art in Heart.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Thank you very much, everyone watching from the other side. This is Art in Heart, and this is yet another episode of Creative Space. It's going to be an amazing night because there's so much that is lined up. Asante sana, Ellie. What do you have for us?
Well, I have a beautiful lady waiting to join you because she told me she must be in the stream. But before we get her to come and tell us what she has in mind about the topic of discussion is, and you all know it because we've been circulating all over. Of course, we're calling this night Art Attack, and we're attacking it from the word of poetry. Poetry has been long-term associated with, just talks and feeling nice, but now it's addressing even more pertinent issues. Lumumba, do you know those issues?
Well, pertinent issues are so many. In the current world, everything is almost pertinent. Yes, and I know that poetry has quite come a long way. Of course, over time, it's even gotten brothers and sisters in terms of title, and now it's gotten subsidiaries. Some people call it spoken word or whatever it is. And yes, you are right. Poetry and spoken word in this day and age really comes with some level of education. It addresses issues, and it's culturally, rightfully an art on its own. Yes, I agree.
Definitely. So as we start this journey tonight, we are calling this show Art Attack, and this is part 2. If you missed part 1, you can always go back to our history and check out Art in Heart, Facebook and YouTube, and find out what we discussed in the previous night. But tonight, we are talking about suicide and depression awareness through spoken word. For those that are not aware, September is the month of suicide awareness. And we are taking this journey as Art in Heart to bring you these very interesting topics because they do matter to us. Later on, we'll be joining, of course, the very one, Saumu Kombo, backstage. I can see her getting ready for us. Saumu will have you later on. But before we get things started, let's look at a very short documentary we created for you to bring things into life. We are going to look at that. So enjoy, sit back, and let's be part of the conversation with the hashtag Art in Heart Creative Space, responding to life.
According to the World Health Organization, Kenya's mortality rate due to suicide is ranked 29th worldwide, with an estimate of 5.6 per 100,000 persons. 1 in every 4 people attending an outpatient service in a Kenyan hospital suffers from mental disorder. Kenyans associate mental health and mental illness negatively and as a personality weakness, leading to low focus on the importance and benefits of mental health and well-being. There is growing alarm in Kenya over a shocking rise in the number of suicides in the country. Almost 500 people are reported to have killed themselves in the 3 months into 2021, more than the whole of 2020, according to the Kenyan police data. The youngest person to take their life was 9 years old, the oldest 76. The 483 deaths recorded during the period were a marked increase on the annual average of about 320 cases. According to WHO, suicides happen impulsively in moments of crisis with a breakdown in their ability to deal with life stresses such as financial problems, relationship breakup, or chronic pain and illness. It added that in 2019, over 77% of global suicides occurred in low and middle income countries.
Yes, Lumumba Eshuchi.
Talk to me.
Quite depressive information there.
I'm short for words because I think the most touching thing about the documentary is the age bracket that addresses or actually records most of these suicidal cases. Because you see, early in the past, and I'm not saying it was okay then, but in the past, over the years, it's always suicide has always been an elderly thing. You'd find old people associating themselves a lot more with suicide than the young people would. Perhaps a father, perhaps a man at his prime age, perhaps a woman, with children and all that. And so you realize the paradigm shift is really causing a crisis here, because the documentary says a lot of the people committing suicide are the young people. We're talking the ages between, the youngest was 9 rather, from the documentary. The oldest was 76. You want to ask yourself, why would a 9-year-old actually take away their lives? Unless there's something that we really are not addressing, and perhaps that should be an area that we should really look into. Perhaps instead of just looking at the statistics, we could actually try dig out and find out what these causes for suicide are, especially for people this young. I'm assuming a 9-year-old is somebody who is still under another person's care. And so if a 9-year-old under my care then decides to commit suicide, to be very honest, there's something I am not doing right. And perhaps we need to approach this from, a cause kind of a perspective. What are we adults, or what are the adults? What are the people responsible, governance and everything? What is it not doing right?
And therefore, the question tonight we are asking, what is causing young people to commit suicide? Even as you follow the conversation, remember, you can send in your comments and response with the hashtag @InHeart Creative Space responding to live, and be part of the conversation. Very quickly, before I bring in our guests, let's go to the comment section and see who is saying what. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Wanyama, who says, great to hear. Yes, of course, we are talking about what is affecting our young people. And tonight, we're having a special edition where we are bringing in spoken word artists. We have Calvin, who says we have to go beyond zero. Definitely, let's do this together. Makomero is asking, is this the men's den? Definitely not, but the men are actually handling this as men, because you know why this is significant? People are expecting other people on board, but people have to understand, for a long time, stress levels are supposed not to be a manly problem, because men are supposed to handle stress. And unknowingly, men are the most prone to this kind of acts of suicide. And, some strange homicides that happen, they are affecting men. So why do we have the men here? Because we do care about what is happening. We have Kipro who's saying, @InHeart responding to life. Good evening to you, Kipro. I hope you're doing everything well. Yeah. Unataka umsalimie nani hapa? Tuna Tony anasema wow. I think the documentary is very touching, and of course that is courtesy of @InHeart, brought to you with Mwema Nzomo, our producer, alongside Jamie Dari. Very, very well covered. Who else is here? Baraka Gutu says beautiful, and yes, Wycliffe Demore Gaddafi finally is back and is saying, what's up, my learned friends? What's up to you? Caroline Kinya, karibu sana. Let's converse on what is causing suicide among young people. We want to bring in our guests in a short while. And before we do that, let's just take a simple intro to our next conversation.
Everyone tells you to watch out for the following signs and symptoms which might indicate that you are a mental health patient. Everyone gives you a clinical approach on how to tackle your mental health problems. But me, I'm no expert. I'm just an artistic soul with a simple life and a simple approach on how to stay sane in a world designed to drive you insane. Simple, the EP. Enjoy.
Yes, Saumu. Welcome to the show. Welcome tonight. That's quite some heavy spoken word over there. Saumu Nzomo from Kombo. Okay. Are you from the coast? Just a quick one before I even get you here. Because no. Kombo and Zomo, I don't know why these go together. Our producer and Zomo, Polisan. Oh, okay. Perhaps we'll delve into that a lot later. So Saumu, tell me something. What interests you in this wild mental awareness? Because I've noticed, I've gone through most of your works, and I've noticed you tend to have quite some acute passion for mental awareness and mental health. What is your inspiration around that particular subject?
I think mental health is the most vital, can I say, type of health in a human being. And once you're at a safe space and at a good place mentally, then you can be able to pursue your dreams. You can be a good person in someone else's support system. You can be your best version if you are at the best place mentally. That is why I love mental health conversations.
And that's quite some wealthy perspective over there. Do you want to probably share with everybody else what really got you into that particular area of interest? Because I'm looking at you, and just mentally, I'm just looking at you and I'm thinking you don't seem to be someone who's maybe in the north of 25. You appear to be someone a little younger, and I know people in that age bracket usually not have delved so much into such issues. Do you have maybe a background history of maybe an experience or observation or something that really drove you into these kind of field, kind of interest rather?
Yes, I am. You're very right. I'm 25 years old. But I've been lucky because in my 25 years of existence, I've interacted with so many people from different walks of life. Yes, like I say in one of my pieces, I've sat down with famous people who are unhappy. I've sat down with broke people who are happy. I've shared my last meal with hungry people. I've been fed by strangers. Like, I have interacted with people from different walks of life, and the underlying factor is mental health. See, and that is also something else. Most people who are actually undergoing mental health problems know how to cover it. You might not really know until you get that close to them. So I can say I've been really lucky to interact with different people from different walks of life. And yes, some of them have been in dark places. Some of them have been in brighter places. They pulled me there. Yes, in summary, that is that, yeah.
That is quite interesting, and I think our CEO, Mr. Eli Likuyani, you should consider Saumu for our show against all odds. I think having worked, you seem to have quite a wealth of history coming around that, and perhaps I think you could just give us a quick insight now that your age is a tick on the box, your experience is a tick on the box. Tell us, why do you think young people, and I think there's a vital area of interest here, young people, why do you think young people are committing suicide? What is causing the young people to commit suicide, according to you, Saumu? Yes,
that is a very good question. Thank you for that question. Yes, and there are so many reasons why people are committing suicide. We can start maybe with just from watching the documentary. Actually highlighted a lot of key points, even for me, from my own perspective. Financial pressure. We are living in a world where people are living their best lives on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, and you really just want to fit in. You know, your best friends have gone for vacations, you wapi, someone has bought a car, and you're there thinking, hey, what am I doing with my life? So such situations. Also, these ones, parents, you'll have to forgive us, but expectations.
Wow. I hope we can actually have that fixed from the other side of the city, because we are experiencing quite some delay. But mentioned an important aspect of it, Eshuchi, and the lady says pressure. The life that people are living online and offline, it's quite opposite, and they end up putting themselves in situations that put them into trouble. Do you believe that could be one of the reasons, sir?
It definitely is, especially for the young adults, for the children. That could be the only explanation, because gone are the days where we say maybe physical bullying. You know that there are kids in our age when we were growing up, there are kids who would be depressed because of things like bullying. They would even refuse to go to school. They would even, and you see, it would really, really eat them. But I think things have changed. I think technology has taken over, and much as we tend to keep focusing on the positives of technology and how well it's made the world, how easy it's made. We're having a meeting over here because of technology. I also think it's also only fair that we address the negatives that it comes with. And I think this is one of the areas, because technology has brought a situation where everybody tries to live out of their reality. You know, you'd rather be on social media rather than be in your real world. You'd rather visit places imaginarily on social media than visit actual places. And so the fact that what Saumu just said, there's this comparison. You know, you have someone who's your age mate and they're here and they're on social media. Of course, you're following each other, seeing each other, and you seem to realize or observe that their life seems a lot, you know, let's call it better for the materialistic approach that we all have for successful lives. So they look like they're doing well. They look like they're living their best lives. They look like they're driving the better car. They look like they're having a better job, and everything about them is glamour. But you look at yourself in comparison and you feel ashamed, and so this actually depresses. It is a factor. I'm just not sure it's big enough. But there's an interesting fact that I got on that from the documentary. It says that there's a place, it says that a lot of suicide cases are as a result of victimizing victims already. You get it? So someone is already at a place of disadvantage. Someone is struggling with something, but you're also trying to put a lot more victimization on them, either blaming them for something or expectation that they are unable to meet. And perhaps I think that's an area you want to look at. I'm speaking too much, so I'll get it back to you. What do you think is the cause of suicide, Ellie? You have to help me here and stop being a moderator.
No. I'm not in any way trying to be a moderator. I'm just trying to find if Kombo is here, because tonight is her night, because she has quite some interesting stuff she's putting forth. But before we have her second opinion on the same, allow me to quickly give a shout out before we take another quick break. We have Kipro earlier said, Art and Heart and responding to live, suicide among young people is mainly caused by peer pressure. And it is something that we had actually mentioned earlier on. And bullying too happens to be one of the reasons she's mentioning. And then we have Jakita, who tells me, indeed, social media can kill someone. Many people can't differentiate between real life and social media image, dream about what they could or should be, and put themselves pressure or get depressed. And it's interesting because even as we try to address suicide, we cannot detach suicide from depression. So even as we're trying to address this too, we have to know that we are talking about Suicide Awareness Month, which is coming in September. But we equally must face that there is stress and there is depression. And these are some of the things apparently we are not supposed to be seeing in young people. So mtoto mdogo mwenye alipi school fees, stress inakumalizia nini? That is the question we are asking. As a young person, you are not paying any bills. The African mentality tells us you're not supposed to be stressed. But what if the family we exist in is in, in trouble. There's mess happening around there. Does it affect the child you're raising in that house? We want to find out about what you think on this discussion. But before we do that, allow me to quickly go through something here interesting, which has decided to go on leave. You know what happens during
Too bad.
live shows? We want to see. We were expecting to have Cykam online, but unfortunately, we are unable to connect to him. But this is what he says about vitu ndogo ndogo. Listen in.
So happiness ni nini? Happiness ni furaha kwa vitu ndogo ndogo kama kupata avocado kubwa na mbegu ndogo. Happiness sio stress ya maziwa, sukari na majani. Happiness ni kuteka breakfast, ngoje maziwa na asali za kule Kanani. Si kama Nescafe, si pia sajani 3 in 1. Happiness ni nini? Happiness ni furaha kwa vitu ndogo ndogo kama kupata avocado kubwa na mbegu ndogo. Happiness ni kusmile kwa jam ukicheza Candy Crush, Tropical 2 5 bob gawa pia msupako kiti next moja. Hata kama si your sweetheart, anaweza kuwa your crush. Kwani happiness ni nini? Happiness ni furaha kwa vitu ndogo ndogo kama kupata avocado kubwa na mbegu ndogo. Happiness ni kupata socks zako 2 pamoja. Happiness ni kuvaa mtumba mpya, shati njumu na toja. Happiness ni ile kahawa ya 10 bob unaongeza ndimu na kunywa ukismile kisoja. Happiness ni a simple date na crush Uhuru Park mkikula ngumu na soda. Okay, hamtakaa kama zile couples za Java, but at least mtakuwa na kastarehe fulani ka Adamu na Hawa. Happiness ni nini? Happiness ni furaha kwa vitu ndogo ndogo kama kupata avocado kubwa na mbegu ndogo. Happiness sio stress na depression ukiwaza kama kwa hii maisha utatoboa.
What do you make of that, sir? Before I say anything more, and hopefully Cykam to come on.
I don't know. I wasn't comprehending the music. I was just enjoying it. And the biggest thing I remember is happiness ni kupata avocado kubwa na mbegu ndogo. For avocado lovers, I think that means a lot. But well, I think that's quite some deep, happy feel spoken one over there. And I think what Cykam is trying to tell us, and the expression I get from that piece of art is, we have made too big the value of happiness, and we have started feeling like we can get happiness from too big things. So at the expense of the little small things that exist with us, tumeanza kutafuta vitu that are out of this world, kako basi inunua tropical, but you see these days we have, I think we have really materialized life. Yeah. And happiness has become a question of illusion. I can almost assure you that a lot of people don't even know what happiness is. Perhaps a lot of people have never actually even been happy, because a lot of people think that when you have sufficient, when you have everything you need, then you are happy. But you realize that you could have everything that you need. You could have everything that that's coming your way on your terms actually, but not be happy. So happiness is a state of mind, from what Cykam tells us, and just appreciating the small little things and making value out of them. I think so, and I agree with him. I've just gotten to think, I don't know the last time I was happy. Early, when last were you happy?
Well, that is a question that we need to find out at the end of this show, because I want to discover what is the state of the mind, like you put it, for young people. Hawalipi rent, as I said it, but they are stressed. Could it be the problem at home? And let me welcome again Saumu, who I hope she's decided finally she's going to be in this show. Saumu Kombo.
Yeah, she's here.
I'm here to stay, yes.
You're here to stay forever and ever.
So, the state of the mind, yes, amongst young people. You see, circumstances vary. Nowadays, by the way, once you turn 18, you're an adult. Most people, you'll be surprised, by the way, around 60% of youth start paying for their move out immediately they turn 18. Like your time when we move out going to campus as a fresher, by then you're already an adult.
Yeah.
There are some bills you have to know how you'll cater for by yourself. You see? Yes. Okay, that's that. But generally, I just like to throw this in there. Most happy experiences do not actually cost money; they cost time. But we're not willing to find that time to pursue those experiences. Unaona? Yeah, exactly. Ngumu na soda Uhuru Park, like Cykam said. See?
Yeah.
But we are not willing to make time. We want to chase the money that we think is going to get us there. Yeah, you may end up getting what you want, then you find that it's not actually what you need to be happy.
Wow.
I think I want to jump in there. I like her point of view so much, and I think another thing that I could agree with her so much on is people don't know what makes them happy, so they try to own what they think makes other people happy. Unajua Eli, you can get into a shopping store and buy the exact shirt that I have on, but it won't look as good on you as it does on me.
I know, right? And the last time I went to the gym, only God knows.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but that's besides the point.
It's okay,
so yes. Relax, man. Yeah. So what happens is like she's saying, like Cykam is saying, soda ndogo na mkate pale Uhuru Park. Eli, that could actually be deep down in your subconscious what you think will make you happy. But you're deliberately running away from it because you think it doesn't make you look cool. You think that is not what you want people looking at you doing, and you don't think that will make you happy because you just feel that is not what it should be. And I like the question you've raised, that what's making our kids depressed na hatulipi or hawalipi rent, they don't have bills. I'll give you this from a teacher perspective. If there's one thing that I have learned, and I'm lucky to teach in one of these schools that we could say are, the schools of the who's and who's. So you do not expect to be interacting with people who have issues.
I know who to ask for money after this. Okay, go ahead.
No. It doesn't translate. It doesn't trickle down. Don't worry. Yeah, you get it. And one thing that I've learned is I think we have over the years placed so much value on time. On money. And like Saumu is saying, there's very little time involved because you meet some of these little kids and their stories seem to be very, very consistent. Mom is never there. Dad is never there. I'm always the nanny. Mom doesn't listen to me. Dad doesn't listen to me. I'm always the driver. I'm always the nanny. I'm always the coach. I'm always with everybody but my parents. Because what is mommy and daddy doing? They are making money to ensure that they can afford this life for me. But is this what really makes me happy? Perhaps not. So then we have started killing the little. And look at that kid back in the village. The dad gets up in the morning, puts him on the bike, anampeleka shuleni. Anaenda anapiga biashara yake. In the evening, the dad comes back, picks him on the bike, drops him home. There is a lot of happiness in these two because the bond is always there and there's that consistency. You're always growing up with your child and at whatever time what your child needs. Because then we have had interesting disciplinary issues. And when a parent comes, the first thing they tell you is, the realistic ones will tell you, I did not know my child to be like that. Or I did not know that my child was going through this. The unrealistic ones will tell you, my child cannot do that. Because it only exposes one factor. You do not know your child. You do not know the people you're raising. And now these are the kids that are being brought up, ending up in depression, and then getting us to our topic of today, suicidal.
Quite sad, and at the same time true. This young lady you see here who has decided today she's again going to be traffic lights for us, anakuja anaenda. It's all right, we understand.
No, I'm here.
Your internet seems depressed. It is expressing itself.
So it's going through a lot.
That's the problem of staying with some people that are toxic in good or bad way. It depends on what is their toxicity. Because the way I laugh of late has something to do with the shuchi. But it's all right. It's all right. That's not my natural laughter. I have quite a beautiful laughter.
If your laughter is beautiful, it's not genuine. Genuine laughters have no formulas. Genuine laughters cannot be tamed. You just laugh it off. Happiness, Ellie.
Happiness. Fine. But let's find out the flip side of it.
Yeah.
Because Saumu prepared something for us, and for those who missed out, we're gonna look at this and then definitely move to the next stage where we will be focusing on what are we supposed to be doing that we are not actually doing. So let's take a look and find out what she prepared.
Hii safari kona mengi maswali, kona nyingi hatari, nazihami na mistari, dunga changu kivuli si feel, moyo jabali si bleed, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real. Walk with the famous, sit with the broken, eat with the generous, feed the broke. Laugh with a strain to mask your fear, run in the rain to hide your tear. Na hii si manual ya success, ukiniuliza bado na guess. I guess success ni vitu ndogo, step by step, efforts kidogo, haba na haba, sis kibaba, don't ever tire, usichoke kufanya. The steeper the climb, the heavier the crown, the heavier the crown, the thinner the crowd. Still we run, we climb, we rise, we move. Don't listen to the naysayers, pay them no mind, we're queer. And as you soldier on, remember happiness is not a place further along on your soul journey. You can choose to be happy as you move. Najua umesikia trust the process mara kama thao. You're wondering when the process is gonna trust you in return. Ama ni one way. Try to make it make sense, try to make it headway, try to fake it, cloud chest, cloud senses. Be proud of your mistakes, they shape you. On your flaws, they set you apart from the crowd. Laugh at yourself more, learn to live with yourself more. People ain't permanent. Filter what you take in, love your environment. Filter what you give out, care for this continent. Don't cut off, just move on, cause I assure you I relate. You stand before the mirror and ask yourself why you can't stop chasing dreams that seem elusive, I relate. You question your unending passion and wonder why your thirst can't be quenched, I relate. You see beautiful patterns in random happenings. You have twisted feelings about simple things. You're wondering if there's a world out there that can relate. You're a simple girl on this twisted journey. You've got a twisted mind. In the simple body, you've got a genius biding time. Just buying time. Hii safari kona mengi maswali, kona nyingi hatari, nazihami na mistari, dunga changu kivuli si feel, moyo jabali si bleed, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real. Shake hands with the famous, swap hearts with the broken. Kiuliza gani na prefer, I won't lie in the latter. Sacrifice my old self to make room for the new. I got to let some go stress for peace to enjoy the view. I talk to myself more than the average human. Listen to myself more than the average human. So talk to yourself more than you talk to everyone. Listen to yourself closer than you listen to everyone. Kama madrez na kudepress una press on kuziuse. Kama habits na kubetray una persist kuzidu. Kama hiyo love ni toxic, then don't sit in it. Kama ni chupa na kumaliza mbona una chag. Kama ni motion na kuchokesha mbona usipass. Kama social media na kukondesha mbona usilog out. Na kama ni sako na kupoteza mbona usicheck out. Sacrifice your old self, make room for the new. You gotta let some go stress for peace to enjoy the view. Bury your seed, sprout you. Barriers mingi mental. Bury your pride and land. Be ready to run, be ready to run, be ready to run. The steeper the climb, the heavier the feet, the heavier the crown, the lighter the crowd. Still we run, we climb, we rise on this twisted journey. Hii safari kona mengi maswali, kona nyingi hatari, nazihami na mistari, dunga changu kivuli si feel, moyo jabali si bleed, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real, ndoto za jirini real.
Ndoto za jini real, ndoto za jini real. Hii safari inanifanya nasikia nimesota. Again, welcome to Art in Heart. My name is Likuyani Eli, and this is the creative space we are hosting tonight. Only the gentleman in the room, Eshuchi Lumumba. Bro, hizo mistari si simple.
I have a question for you. Mimi na swali kwa hii safari.
Endelea.
Do you talk to yourself more than you talk to everyone else?
Actually, I talk to myself by talking to other people.
And do you listen to yourself more? Do you listen to yourself more than you listen to others?
I advise other people more than I advise myself. That is the world we live in.
I think there's something so peculiar about that line, because what it exposes us to is there is very little that we do for ourselves. So we are barely in touch with ourselves. Urona, look at the life around you. You're more concerned about who did what, who went where, what happened where, who was involved with who. But how often do you actually just come to do what you call self-reflection and ask yourself, okay, how am I doing on this and that? How bitchy have I been lately? How productive have I been here and there? And so eventually you just realize, I think Saumu could be telling us where the problem is, that our societal and depressional issues come because we want to focus more on people and very, very less on ourselves. And that could be true. Yes.
Definitely.
Ellie, from today, yes. Talk less and then
I can't promise that. Probably it's self-therapy, man. You never know. But yes, there's something, and last week, for those who have been following, I posted something and I told you, for the person that will be able to pick out that word in one of our broadcasts will get themselves 500 shillings. What was the word? And at what point was it said? Haha, hii safari ni noma. If you can get it, I'll give you a hint. And you have to fill into the spaces of the word that is missing. So the words were, najua umesikia, trust the process, find out the missing words, let me know what you think were the words and the title of that particular SP. Let's find out. Nyanduko Nyabuto.
I am so sorry, guys. I've been having device issues. Yani, I was about to cry. But here I am. Because I was like, I'm missing out. Hey, Nicole, who am I missing out on such an number? Hey, shooting the movie. You guys, my guy.
Yes.
How are you?
Talk to me. How are you? You told me when you get back, you're going to find me some good kahawa around. So what's happening?
I haven't gotten back. I'm coming back probably next month. Probably. Kwa mama ni kitamu.
Relax.
Are we doing this at work?
This is part of work.
Let's get to the comment section as we welcome in Nyanduko 254. Karibu sana here. We have it's a Fifi Parts and the Kiproroda affair right now. Very well put. You should always not forget to teach our children the same. Definitely. And we have Victoria, who is on the sidelines, right? She's saying always on point. Saumu, a great talent there you have. That's such a great talent, Saumu. And yes, I love the mystery. This is by Wycliffe Damour Gaddafi. Majina mnajipatia bwana. Uko na jina ngumi ya Wajaluo. It's all right. It's all right. Heart in heart, don't cut off. Just move on. Fire. Thank you so much, Jakita. And we have, who else is here? Fifi Parts anasema na unashangaa when the process will trust you instead. Yes, we ameipata mahali mistari zina flow kama yeye. We have who is he? Roiko Bena, who says nice one. Thank you so much, Roiko, for joining.
Roiko in spice manze.
Yeah, when is spice anatuspice hapa. Maybe tungemwambia ni rich in spice.
Mistari tu leo, eh?
You might hire me to write your lyrics. You never know.
Lakini Eli ukiraimisha words mbili usidhani sasa ati umekuwa mnoma. Those are just 2 words, make them 5.
Alafu unajua amefocus on the rhyme than the value, the meaning. Sasa
What sense are you making? Are you making
Chali
sense,
anaitwa
sir?
Roy Kobena. Huyu akasema hiyo wewe ni you can just say spice. Mimi nikasema no, yani rich in spice, yani rich in spice.
What sense are you? Okay, umeitetea sana. So
Okay, Ellie. Yeah. Do me 2 or 3 of those. Alafu nikusainishe manze.
Najua umesikia maraka tao. Acha ninyamazie. Trust
alafu
the process. Lakini when will the process ever trust you?
Those are Saumu's lyrics.
I'm saying that's deep, and that's where I want us to pick the conversation. Because at the end of the day, we tend to feel like we are, you know, every other person is advising you on what you should not be doing or what you should be doing. The question is, when do we actually internalize all this advice and make it our own? Like Eshuchi asked me, when do you ever speak to yourself? Nyanduko, how do you deal with your stresses?
I cry. Like I said earlier, when you join, I have told you I cry. Yeah. So crying is a good outlet for me. Sometimes I write them down. It helps a lot. It is a way of getting it out. And other times I talk to myself. I just sit myself down. I talk to myself.
Interesting that you mentioned about crying, Nyanduko. But in this case, I want you to look at Eshuchi. The two of you, I want you to have a one-on-one. Just look at each other for a moment.
Why are you making us look at each other? Like, what's wrong with this guy? Okay, after looking at each other.
Now, what you see is...
We have... Yes, sir.
In front of you, right? And I hope I can invite Saumu to this conversation to be a partaker of the information. You see a man in front of you, very well confident. He looks to have it all covered. Now, Nyanduko, again, I want you to look at yourself. Okay, this is a simple exercise we are doing. You are looking at yourself. The next person I want you to look at, I want you to look at this lady here. Awesome. We can see her. She's looking very beautiful in black. I almost said lady in red, but she's in black. And we have this gentleman here. Now, these people here right in front of us have issues they need to vent. Nyanduko, you'll go to Eshuchi and vent, and you'll cry all the river you want to, and he'll give you a shoulder to lean on. Now, reverse the situation, and we have Eshuchi crying to you, hey, you know, babes, and I cannot do this. What are the right words you'll tell him most of the time?
It's gonna be hanging there.
I think
that's what the words is say.
She'll tell me, be a man. Be a man.
No, but okay. That is the supportive me, and then there'll be me that will tell you, watch a kulia kama mwanamke, you know. Crying is for ladies. Now, look for do something manly, you know.
Exactly. And someone on the other end, she will leave the room. Nyanduko, I think your relatives don't want you on TV tonight, but it's all right. Saumu, on the other end, will go and say, oh, you know, girlfriend, this has been happening, and everybody will be like, oh, babes, I got you, and all that. You know, now Nyanduko and Saumu are having that conversation. But myself and Eshuchi, when we have these kind of situations that are burning us out, we'll go and say, hey, Buddha maze, home ni kubaya. The first answer I will tell him, like, Buddha, tuishi tuki wanaume, siyo ndio maisha. Now, what I'm trying to say is, as much as we are told, oh, there's all this kind of support, at the end of the day, these men that you look and see they are doing well, they are actually battling a lot of issues that nobody's ready to listen to. So how then do we encourage a boy child, for that matter, to actually open up? Saumu Kombo.
Wow, that's a hard ball that you've just thrown at me. Because to be honest, as you say, we've conditioned men and boys to just know that, you are a man. Men don't cry, man. Boys don't cry. I guess for starters, men can form safe spaces in their communities kwanza, kama wanaume. It should be okay for you to cry kwa shoulder ya bro wako, ama, that friend of yours. It should be totally fine. You should break down and cry. But the crying is very cathartic.
Look at
him.
He's laughing out. Like he's not imagining himself going to A and say, hey Buddha, he cannot imagine that.
Hey, the man will tell you, what are you trying to do? Why are you coming to me?
Let me tell you guys something. The development of a child, the development of a boy and all that these little conversations start right from the word go. And that's why you realize you cannot teach an adult man, for instance, to cry. If you did not make it okay for them to cry when they were babies, if you did not tell them it's okay, baby, cry when you have a problem, because your conditioning of how you express your emotions is something that you grow on. You don't just learn it overnight. For example, I usually tell people, and let nobody get this the wrong way, but I don't think I'm the kind of a person who can ever commit suicide. I was raised by a mother who would beat you up. You're still crying. She makes food. You just take as little as a minute before eating that food. It's gone. And you forget about it. And tomorrow comes. And she didn't care about it. You get it? So you end up conditioning yourself. Unajua, you know what? I am angry. I'm annoyed. But what do I need? Food. Na huyu hata bembelezana na mimi, I am going to eat this food. So you see, over time, like right now, I was just bringing in my point of view. This is how I deal with my pressure. And I think these were words I learned from my old man. My old man tells me this, and he tells me, as long as you have done your best, as long as you know you have done the best you could, as long as you know that you do not owe anybody anything, whatever matter that wants to kill you, if the person on the other end is not willing to dialogue with you, relax, let it go. Yani, achana nayo. Mimi manze, mimi nitakwambia tu, mimi hata landlord anajua, nitamwambia tu manze, mimi sina rent. You know what? Give me a month or two. I have always paid you rent. I will raise it and give it to you. But when you make everything look like, you have to tackle it with some sort of urgency, because the current world doesn't give you breathing space, and then find your other way of expressing emotion. For example, I'm just big at speaking. I'll find a friend and speak. Nyanduko, I will not cry on my fellow man's shoulder, though. That one is not happening. Yes.
Come cry here. Come cry here.
Yes.
Come cry
here. No. That is not happening. Gilbert Makomere is on the comment section. Gilbert and I come from the same place, and there we don't do things like crying on another man's shoulder. It's not happening.
See, this is the problem, Eshuchi. Even though I really want to have the perspective from Kombo, thing is, we are making it that it's very wrong for you to actually have that moment of breaking down and talk to a man. And that's why a lot of men will find it difficult to tell their dads, I love you. Like, Dad, I love you. Like Dad, like seriously.
Ataniambia umefagia mabati. Have you done your homework? Ndio kuja hapa uniambie I love you.
Atakwambia huna kazi.
I love you. Okay, but well, Ellie, I do get your point. And that's why I would still reckon there are things, there are levels and manners of expressions that if you have not grown over and grown along, it's very hard to learn them there's a level, there's a stage and an age in life where you reach and very little about you is adaptable. Very, very little. And especially your emotional expression, because your personality has been formed already. And then there is another problem. This is not even just a reserve for men. We have humans that are alpha. You know, we have people who look like they have it figured out. And I think these are the people who are very prone to suicide, because I look at Ellie, and Ellie has everything figured out. He's the one who lends me money once in a while. He's the one who's able to fix my problem here and there. Yes, he's the one who's holding shows and advising relationships here and there. So when finally Ellie has a legitimate problem, first of all, the place he holds, in my perspective, can't even allow him. Or rather, it can allow him, but it won't allow him to come to me and actually break and be like, you know what, Eshuchi, for this time round, I'm the one who can't pay my rent. This time round, I am the one who's not able to do this. So there's also this reserve of people, and it's both males and females. Those figured out people, you know, people in church say, people who keep pouring. You pour until your cup is empty, and now there's nobody to fill your cup. So everyone looks at you, but people don't care who you look up to at all. Yes.
Great.
Yeah, people are always giving. You're always giving. No one is giving you back. And when it's time for you to ask for something, that's why it becomes hard, because you cannot go to Ellie, because Ellie has seen you all manly and stuff. Like, you know, Baba Mlie, crying is healthy.
You know, Nyanduko is just proving tonight she's a good and great listener, because when she has to speak, her internet decides to do other things. But it's all right. It's all right, Nyanduko. You have proved yourself.
Let me fix it
you
and
have
come
proved
back.
yourself. Let's see. Before we go to the next level, and I see time is really not our friend tonight, we want to proceed on with the conversation. Saumu, what do you teach your child, especially if they're a man? Well, I'm talking to boys, of course. What do you teach them? Is it okay to come to mama and say, I'm suffering from ABCD, or ajipange?
When I'll have a son, I think the most important thing that I'll teach him is that it's okay to wear your emotions on your sleeve. Yep. It's totally okay to express how you feel. You know, but the hardest thing you could ever tell an African dad is, I love you.
Ameshtuka.
Kata kuangalia like umefanya nini, umekosa endo unakuja kwa I love you kujitetea. Yeah. So we need to teach our sons that it's totally okay to express your emotions. Honestly, that is the most important thing I'm going to teach my sons. Express what you're feeling, let it out. Yes. If you love someone, let them know. Life is too short. No. Yeah. If you're feeling like you're
in other words,
not in a space where you can cope, talk. Exactly.
Are you trying to open up? Because Shishuchi is listening keenly. It's wondering, when are you going to open up that point that you are not saying? Shishuchi, don't act nice on me. I know what you're doing.
It's okay to express your emotions.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just listening to Saumu. You see, there's so much around this emotional space and the current world, and I think you realize that another thing, that the article that we just shared together today, there's something that it kept pointing out. There are a lot of the people who commit suicide, there are a lot of people who are really wrapped up in depression, tend to be people who are ignored by society. And this just got me thinking. I don't know if you guys are aware of a trending situation. I don't know if it's okay to talk about it, but well, it hurts nobody. There's a trending situation of a gentleman who went to the streets crying out for help. He did not have house rent and all that, and needed some help on that. And then Mzee Jalango came on board and was able to pay his rent. I think a figure of some figure there. Paid the rent,
shillings was it? What was reported?
Yes, 18,000 shillings. And I listened through Jalango's advice to him severally to just pick up where this guy is getting trouble from. And I honestly do not want to say that I could point a single thing that was wrong with this guy, because Jalango told him it is okay, go and pay your rent, but next time just try, use what you have to make something. Go work your ass out. Go do something for yourself. How he took an offense of this, I do not know. And I think those are some of the areas that people tend to grow very gray lines around. Because then the next time this same person is out there doing the same thing, you don't know if this person is actually depressed, if this person is actually having a problem, or is this person cloud chasing, as many have branded him. Because the other thing that people say about people who commit suicide is most people handle depression and mental awareness as a disorder. And so people don't attack it from a solution-oriented problem. Therefore, even the victims of it are not open to express. They're not open to share because for them, it looks like a disorder. And so you want to die with it. You want to keep it inside. So where do we draw the line, Ellie? Where do we draw the line between genuine mental illness, the current situations of cloud chasing? You don't even know if someone is just trying to do it for the clout and all that. And I think it's the same situation that I tell Nairobians every day. Thugs and chokoras and the thug beggars have spoiled the streets for the genuine beggars who might actually need help. You look at someone and you're like, this person needs help. And then you're like, what if they're calling
Interesting that you mentioned that, but let me bring in Saumu. And Saumu, as an artist, you are supposed to speak of everything that is happening in society. And we are very specific about mental health. And Eshuchi has brought out a point that sometimes it's about the cloud chasing. Do you feel there's a problem with the content we are creating as creatives to actually address the real issues in society? And what is the way forward?
There definitely is a problem, not actually with the content that is being created. Believe you me, there is so...
Okay, I've believed you. I've believed you that you're so in the mood to do the thing. But and apologies to our viewers that we are trying our really best to have everything in check tonight. However, sometimes things don't just work out, and we're not ashamed to say that. We will try as much as possible to get things rolling. Allow us to go back to the comment section and just appreciate a few of you that are making this conversation worth it. Eshuchi, uko na macho ine, so unaweza soma leo. Sitakufanyia kazi yote hapa. Alafu unataka tugawane mshahara. That's not possible, my friend.
Bring them in.
That's not possible. Start all the way from there.
Yes, Innocent Haririmana. That's a very interesting name. And Innocent says, crying is healing. Men should do that often. Innocent, I agree with you. Totally. Just teach the boys to cry every now and about. Makomere Gilbert from the Men's Den himself. Stages of development Eshuchi Lumumba. Each taonana backstage Makomere. Tuende taratibu as you like it. Then we have Fifi Parts. Thank you for watching. Fifi Parts says, let them find an outlet. I think that's what they meant. Yeah, let them find an outlet. Cosmos Sima is following. Thank you, Cosmos, for staying with us. Keep at it, art in heart. Do we have another comment, Mr. Eli? Yes, Fifi Parts is still here with us. And it says, but if the society didn't judge tearful boys when they were young, we wouldn't have men today struggling to express their emotions when they feel any other thing apart from happiness. I agree with Parts totally. If society didn't judge them, if people didn't keep telling them, oh, you are a man, oh, you are a boy, boys don't cry and all that. And in Men's Den, I have to bring this in. One person said in Men's Den that we should know when we are encouraging and when we are enabling. Let's draw the line. Cosmos Simo says, Noreen Ambata, a good conversation indeed. Eshuchi talking bare facts. Thank you very much, Simwa. Uyu Noreen Ambata kwa hapa kweli? I think she's watching from the behind the scenes. Frida Nguku is here with us. Thank you, Frida, for being with us. She says, yes, there is nobody to fill up the cup. And of course, you can't pour from an empty cup. This is, of course, about the people who keep giving and giving and have a problem when they're expecting something in return. Thank you, Frida. Makomere Gilbert is still here. This guy, Eshuchi Lumumba, that's myself. That is toxic masculinity. They can't hear or be told. I tend to have to read this from his voice because I know it. Okay, Gilbert, sawa, behind the tent, tutaonana hii maneno tena. The next comment comes from Frida Nguku, still here with us. Thank you, Frida. Misguided generation Eshuchi Lumumba. I feel like we attack a problem the wrong way. We should get to the root of it, then come up. Yes, I agree with Frida. We are more of an effect approach society than a cause approach society. If we approach things from the cause, perhaps most of our solutions would be underway. Back to you, Ellie, in the studio. I read the comments. Did I do a good job?
You did an awesome job. But the English here, I can tell why I'm not receiving any more messages recently. Do you get DM'd by any chance? Because I'm getting depressed at this rate.
No. We don't do that here. We don't share our DM issues here, man. Yeah. We're okay.
We just made it to the first hour. Let's see what more we have coming up. Remember, on Saturday, the family edition, you can always get and catch us on every Saturday right here on the Arts in Heart. On Facebook and YouTube, the handles remain the same, Art in Heart on Facebook and Art in Heart on YouTube official. That is the handle. And we are going to take another quick break. As we do that, let's listen into something that this young lady prepared for us earlier on, and she says, Ellie, you must listen to this. We'll be back after this.
Let me tell you something that's simple. Life like you never ever sample. Seed by sages, tried and tested, good for your health and the mental. Simple joys from a simple life with some simple folks. It's a magical folk tale. Simple joys from a simple life with some simple folks. It's a magical folk tale. You spend so much time in your head. You've got to make sure it's a safe space. Working, trying to get ahead. You've got to make sure that's a safe pace. Lenga fast lanes, it can affect thrills and quick fixes. Short-term pleasures, but in the long term, your precious if poor for your brain. Usiwahi compare unless ni jani yako ya jana na leo. Usiwahi complain ati life si fair. Ju life si fair. Tunapewa short sweat after gano jua gani utatake. Usiwahi fake, I've been there. And the only people that were impressed were my demons. They feed on your fear of reality showing through the fake. Ghosts from the past lazima zitaku out. So face them and work out your issues. And friends them feeding on your issues. Replace them with the right ones. Will find you. Na usichoke kumove hata kama kuna traffic. Take the pause to reflect and give thanks. Usichoke kuomba hata kama hakuna answers. Answers ziko ni vile God hasomi from script yako. Usichoke kucheka hata kama jokes haziko. A smile a day keeps the pills away. Make someone's day cause these needs need fixing. Make someone smile cause these souls need uplifting. Make someone happy cause these hearts need some loving. Make someone meet someone, help someone, get somewhere. Help someone do something, let someone love someone. Juhi life ni cycle. What goes around finds you fair. Let me tell you something that's simple. Life like you never ever sample. Seed by sages, tried and tested, good for your health and the mental. Simple joys from a simple life with some simple folks. It's a magical folk tale. Simple joys from a simple life with some simple folks. It's a magical folk tale. But when you feel low, know you're not alone. It's a drench in bottles to drown your sorrows. Go someplace quiet, sit with your sober soul and listen to its song. You deep down uko na answers, deep down uko na cure, deep down uko na greatness, challenge ni kuitoa. Check a sunrise, vile ni miracle, how the gold erases the grey bila effort. How the cold paves ways for warm beginnings. Check a sunrise ni evidence and new beginnings. Check a sunsets ni proof that endings pia uko beautiful. Check a sunsets ni evidence chenye mwanzo kina mwisho. Listen to instrumentals, let your mind write lyrics, shut up your inner critic, let your heart add beats, let your feet find paths your eye could never see. Check his sunrise.
Wow, that's going out his one and only Saumu Kombo. Interesting facts that she's mentioning in that piece. You can always follow the complete EP on YouTube because it's now available. And let me just bring her in. I hope now atatufanyia ile kitu. Saumu,
Yes.
Are you planning to do the thing?
Yes, I can hear you. No, I'm here now for real, grounded.
Okay, let me just get Ishuchi just in case you decide
Sorry,
to pull one on me.
I'm the backup, eh?
Tunakutumia vibaya.
Naona unanitumia hapa kama third wheeler. He's all right.
But let's delve into what you've just presented there, Saumu, and what were you actually trying to put out when you're writing that piece? Because it seems to take us to the next level of this discussion, whereby we are looking at the simple solutions to some of the things we are suffering from as young people.
Exactly. You've summed up the answer actually in the question. What are some of the simple things that I can do to stay sane in this world that just seems to be changing every minute, and a world that just wants to drive you insane? What are these simple things that you can do? Like making other people happy, just walking in the sun, just enjoying the simple things. I feel like nimeongea sana. But yeah, the underlying factor, simple things that make you happy, simple things that help you stay sane. Yes. Thank you.
Well, when you talk of matters simple, it's interesting because the guy that is in front of us, he says he's a simple man who wants to love you the simple way. And when we talk about simple, he understands it. Solution. We talked in that piece about never comparing. And Eshuchi, you are in the entertainment scene, and you know what happens there, and people competing and trying to, show who is doing better than who. Is this something we need to address?
No one cares where you went on vacation early. No one cares what you dress in. No one cares what you eat. No one cares what car you drive. The only person that should matter are the people who actually care about you, the people who are close to you, and most importantly, yourself. So once you're able to adjust your life, your expectations and your obligations within your confinements, everything else is secondary, and life becomes so happy. A lot of people are unhappy because of situations they've brought for themselves that they do not have to take or cater for. And so you are unhappy for no reason that is, profitable to you. It's that simple. Yes. Make yourself happy. Do the things that make you happy and the things that you can for you, not for anybody else, not for the gram, not for the people, not for, for stature and all that. Not for that. You're not a politician. So do what you have to do for you. Yeah. Stay happy.
Politician kufanyia nini, but let me find out what Kombo thinks. Kombo, you've said something about making someone else feels good, and I just want to understand your journey as an artist. Have you been through a moment that you even doubted yourself and nothing else was making you feel good, and how did you work around it?
Let me tell you, to be honest, I have those moments like weekly.
Oh.
Yes, there are those brief.
Wewe ndio daktari na uko na ugonjwa kuliko mgonjwa.
Yes. See, this is what we were saying about talking your truth. There may be an artist out there who's watching. Na ana feel ni kama we have our, sorry to use this word, but shit together. Honest truth is that most people don't have their shit together. It's a day-to-day process of, not doubting yourself, remembering all the things you've done in the past. So what I do to ensure that I don't really get myself down, every year, at the beginning of every year, I write down all the things that I accomplished the previous year. The shows I got featured on, whether I released an album, whether I wrote a play and it was staged, all those things. So now in this year, if I'm feeling down, I open my diary and I go to that page. 2020, these are the things I managed to accomplish. 2019, I did this. So I compare. The graph is actually, I'm not stagnant. I'm improving. I'm learning new things. I'm producing new content. Yes, that's why I say usiwahi compare unless njani yako ya jana na leo. I won't sit here and say like sasa King Kaka has a label and me I'm just here starting out. No. Saumu Kombo last year didn't have any album. Right now she has 2 spoken word albums and she's working on a 3rd album. You see?
Allah.
Such simple things. You won't believe the power of positive self-talk. When you talk to yourself positively, it actually really improves your mood and it opens your creative block in many ways.
Yes. Eshuchi, thank you so much, Saumu, for that. You have to simplify stuff. But Eshuchi, I want to realize and understand, When do you cut and draw the line that hapa ninajiadvise lakini ninajidanganya na hapa uko sawa?
Become your number one critic and your number one fan. You know, once you're number one critic, utakuwa honest. Mimi kuna ngoma naandikanga and I'm like, hii bado itaiva. Even you produce it, hata kuna show unaweza piga wasee wa kuchocha wakwambie manze leo umeweza, but you're like, no, you guys know.
You know what I did there. You and yourself know where you are.
I know what I did there and I know I've done better, and I agree with Saumu. Sometimes when you bring your moments together, you can compare them and you can be like, okay, perhaps I'm a lot better on skill here, but my delivery here was not as good as over there. And you can bring in the factors and also be your number one fan, so that when you have done it, when you have the little small wins, you can pat yourself on the back and be like, you know what, man, you did it and you did good and you are better than yesterday. And I agree with her. Make the scale about you. So your comparison will always be you. Compete you, manze. Compete you. Don't compete people. Compete the you that was there yesterday and ensure that you're able to beat him. If the yesterday you beats you, then perhaps you can get yourself on the critical table and be like, I am doing something wrong. But as long as you are ahead of the you that you are yesterday, then the you that you are today is just as fine as the you that you are can ever get. Did you hear that, Mr. Eli?
I heard you, but I'm getting some sort of concern. I'm getting some concern, Saumu, from what Eshuchi just said here. When you constantly competing against yourself, don't we see there is a danger of criticizing yourself to the extent that even when you're doing well, you still feel you're not good enough? And how do you balance?
I think it's just a matter of positive self-talk versus critic. So in as much as you're saying, this area is not really good, also find the things that you do that you feel like you're really good at. At times it's really good to remind yourself, it's good to remind yourself the things that you're good at. See? So in as much as, like, yes, there are times when you'll feel inadequate. There are times when you'll feel like you're not really cutting it. But also remember, on the positive side, you have a gift. And the fact that you've come this far, like, let me tell you something. Most people, by them, everyone is creative actually. But only like a slight percentage manage to follow through with picking their.
Do we have somebody in studio?
In Shuchi's case. Yes, I think Cykam is joining us.
Cykam, can you hear us? The guy just appeared like a miracle. Only yes, watakuja when we are least expecting. Good evening, Cykam. Can you hear us? If you may unmute. You've muted your phone. We can hardly hear you. I'm sorry about that, guy. Cykam is trying to join us, but seems like tonight we are having one of those days. I hope we can be able to come in either way. But then again, before we cut you short, Saumu, pardon us for that, you were telling us about how to balance everything out so that you don't go overboard.
Yes, just draw like a table. You see? The things you accomplished this year versus areas that you think you need to improve on. But also the key thing, I guess, it's good to mention this, is to narrow down on the things that you feel like you're good at. You don't try to do everything. You'll find that you are spreading your creative energy so that the areas that you're actually really good at are being starved of the creative energy that could make them shine, so to say. I don't know if I've given some.
If you want to talk to me, yes. If you want to talk to me directly. Don't go through corners. Okay, I hear you, so. That hit home.
Yeah,
That
and apologies to our viewers because we were trying to get Cykam to talk to us. Cykam is a great spoken word artist, and you can always find his work on YouTube. If you want to find him on Facebook, he's available, and on Instagram, amazing pieces that he's doing. I don't know if he can be able to join again. Let's just find out. Sir, can you hear us? He's really tried. He's been here for an hour trying to join us, and I don't know. Again, Eshuchi, that day you want to have a very nice gig, and the rains keep doing what they are doing best. I think this is one of those days. But let's now a little bit add some conclusion into this conversation. And when the suicide event has happened, a lot of people will tell us, this individual took the easiest way out. They were a coward. You're branded a coward. I come from a society and a community that sometime back in the years, I don't know if it's still happening because it's some time I've been missing from the village, but I know if one died and the cause was suicide, especially if they hang themselves, before they, unhang that corpse or the body, they will whip it out completely, naviboko, like a serious whoop. And then they will untie the body. That is how they showed that what you did was a cowardly way out. Number two, you'll be buried in the middle of the night or very early in the morning when nobody's there to mourn you. Is it demonizing the act of suicide, or is it that we do not understand what happens to an individual before they get there? Eshuchi.
I think that could be a very controversial perspective, and it's a cultural thing, if you ask me. You'd realize a lot of our cultures were anchored on disciplinary versus territorial. You'd realize you'd be told that if you did this, myths would be generated around a bad habit, so that as kids grew, you never understood why we don't do this, but you were told that if you do this, this would happen. No one would have ever seen what happened. There would never be repercussions around it, but you just go around the myth. And no, one thing I know about suicides is they were highly discouraged. And so there was this urge to treat suicidals and people who've died from taking their own lives away, treating them so miserably, so that the onlookers and the people watching can imagine that this is how miserable, this is how frustrating it can be to take your own life, that you won't even be respected in death. And you realize that in our communities, there's a little too much focus on the respect that we give to the dead. And so you want to imagine, and you'll be told, unataka kukufa ufanywe kama nani penye alifanywa pale juu ya mti. That kind of a thing. So I would look at it from that perspective, because that's how our communities and some of our traditional cultures instilled values. Yeah, they made it. I don't think it's demonizing. If it is, perhaps, but I don't think it is. I just think people are trying to discourage generations after that this is not the way to go. And as well, we have the living thinking that you are better off with them. So sometimes it's also just their way to express their anger, that you decided to leave them with all these embarrassments. Because as the living, we look at the family embarrassment that you've left for us, because kila mtu atakuwa anasema unajua mtoto wa nani alijindwa na maisha. Alijindwa na maisha akaweka kamba kwa shingo. Akaenda.
For a moment, I was buying into Cosma's comment until you changed completely to a 360 turn. Eshuchi, I think you have read the Johari's window. You are very clear, and as a medic, I get you more louder and clear. And then Johari's book disappeared. You became mtoto wa jirani. It's all right.
Cosmas, how's up? Yeah.
The guy is in character. Thank you so much, Fifi Pats. And tonight you've been very gracious to share your thoughts with us. And anyway, too much of something is just poison to us. And we have Branish who says, I've been following Good job, ladies and gentlemen. You're doing a good job there. Thank you so much. And DJ, who tells me I'm following, and Noreen, of course, thanking those that are following the conversation in the comment section. As we conclude, there is one thing I want us to make clear, that we have had situations because of the parameters that surround our laws. If you attempt suicide, or suicide as they call it, you're trying to cause bodily injuries to yourself. Kwa bahati mbaya upone. Wanasemanga ukitaka kujiua, kufa tukuzike. Ukipona wewe na jela kamiti. Is this the best way to go around this, Saumu?
Wow. That law is just funny. Cause hey, okay, yeah, it touches my humorous fiber, but I don't think that's the best way to go about it. Someone mentioned that we need to focus more on cause than on effect. So if we find a way of plugging the holes that actually that drive people towards suicide, we won't need such laws. Can we have laws that make mental health free? You can walk into any hospital and you'll find a psychologist, a therapist that you can talk to. Mm-hmm. Can we have laws that ensure that your working hours are reduced so that you can spend more time with your family? You can spend more time, you can go picnic, hiking, nini, vitu za kuhave fun. Unaona, can we have such laws instead of having laws that, okay, sasa amekufa, amejaribu kujiua, like, can we have laws that focus more towards prevention than now after the effects?
I'm interested to know if those kind of laws could exist or do exist. I'm not good with the laws of the land, but there's one thing I know, because I know the insurance have equally evolved in such a way they do not refund the families if one committed suicide. But what we do not understand, it's actually a mental wellness issue. Nobody will wake up one morning and they decide they have had enough. Eshuchi, to insurance tuambie nini?
Na hiyo ndo maana kuva unachapwa viboko, kwa sababu umeharibu pesa yetu yenye watu tungelipwa, umeenda umejinyonga, sasa hakuna pesa ya insurance. Okay, I think I just think we need a serious moral awakening as a generation. It's just a moral awakening where, you know, the problem with our current generation and our current affair of things is, even at your hospital bed, someone is looking to gain from it. There are always people pulling strings to gain from your situation. You know, you are look at our sorry to say, but look at some of our, you know, social media streams here and there. You find someone is really in some serious mental issue, and they're just finding fancy headlines for all these, you know, and then making matters worse. And that's why that's why the article says a lot of our suicide issues are because of people who are already victims, and they're also being victimized for that. Someone calls you a cloud chaser, someone calls you, you know, a weak person, someone tells you, oh, you did this with the wrong tribe. It's all just chaos. So no one is listening. We can just moralize things and be humane. Once we're humane, we'll just ask the right questions. Why did you feel like you needed to do this? And why is this your way out? Can we help? Can we talk about this? Can we go through this? So we are missing the moral fiber. Insurance inataka kukaa na pesa yako because you've been paying them. There is somebody else who wants you gone. You know, there's a lot around it. And that's why sometimes a lot of people who will commit suicide, in their notes, there's one statement that I've always found consistent. They will always say, it got to a point where it didn't matter because no one is listening to you. No one cares about what you're saying. No one is asking what is happening to you. And the few who are asking are probably judging. And the advices around, the few who pretend to be friends are bad-mouthing you in the back. So it doesn't matter anymore. Nobody seems to care. And so you feel like you have no value.
Talking of caring, Eshuchi, It's interesting you mentioned that because, as you said, the few that tend to look like they're your friends, some of them don't care. Do you know it's interesting that somebody cares to know what type of shoe a shoe is wearing, if it's fake Gucci or not? Because I was listening the other day to a Twitter space of mental wellness, and they said some people will notice huyu amevaa chocolate Chanel na sio Coco Chanel. They will tell the difference, but nobody can look you into the eye and tell you, bro, you're having an issue. I would love to help you. Like, you're so concentrated on the superficial. How do we help ourselves from these situations, Saumu?
I think just be kind. Be kind and try to put yourself in the other person's shoe. We are all going through a lot, especially with the new world. Since Corona happened, things have changed. People are trying to squeeze, just to make sure that they get to the next day. So my advice is just be kind to people, because there's a research that shows actually that the words we speak, the things we type, have a boomerang effect on us. So when you give out positivity comes back to you, and light. But when you demonize people, somehow, somewhere, that energy is going to rotate, and then find you. So let's just try to be kind to people.
Great. Talking of treatment again, and thank you so much. Let's be kind and put yourself in their situations and fit into their shoes. You'll find out it's not really the best place to be at. For those that say ukienda hospitali to look for help, it's like when it's cheesy, seeking for mental health treatments has been perceived to be a madman issue. They call it mad. And this is somebody that has a mental situation that they need help. Eshuchi, what is your call on that?
I think I'll go back to what Saumu says. Awareness has to be created around the seriousness that mental issues should be taken with. We have far too long focused on physical illnesses, visible illnesses that cripple you, illnesses that create wounds on you, illnesses that make your system dysfunctional. But we've forgotten that sickness that is in the mind, which according to me is the biggest sickness, because then that determines everything. Positivity comes from up there. You can't heal in any other disease if you're not positive in your mind. And so I still think we have a long way to go on matters mental awareness. And as individuals, we can start with the very basic things, just what you said. I should be able to tell that, okay, I have listened to Ellie today and that guy doesn't sound right. Ellie, is there a problem? How may I be of help? Because a lot of people, and especially men, I will say this very openly, men can be reserved as they look, they can be as conservative as they look, but trust you me, a man will talk to you once they feel the space is safe. Reach out to a man and be like, hey, Shuchi Bana, is everything okay? A man will talk. A man will talk to you. So once we create relationships and circles that go beyond the good times and can also expand into the difficult times, where I am your friend beyond just your Mary, beyond your amazing moments, and I can also be your friend in times of need, then people will have more sharing spaces. And actually, those mental institutions will actually reduce. We might not even need them, because mental institutions exist because people are bottling things up. People are bottling things up because they are not able to share them. And people are not able to share the things because they don't feel safe. What does safety mean? Zero judgment, listening ears, and a hand to help. It's just that simple.
A hand to help is where I leave it at. Final thoughts, Saumu, Kombo, because we must end this. Saumu, if you can hear me.
Okay. Thank you very much. I feel like yes, I can hear you. I feel I've learned actually much more than I've given, And I think we need to create more spaces like these ones where people can just sit and actually talk about these things in an open manner. Guys, stay positive. Listen to your best music. Cook your best food. Jitrit. You see the way you usually love people those first 3 months of a relationship, how you treat your spouse. Treat yourself like that every day. Put yourself first. Don't be selfish, but put yourself first.
I don't know why Lumumba cannot hear the word first few weeks of relationship and yourself in the same sentence. I have no idea why.
Trust me, those are not the words that even triggered me. I just remember this little video that was doing rounds on social media of this guy who was saying, "Bana, si kila mara tu kutuma fare kukununulia mwanamke kuku, nunua kuku bana, kula mwenyewe jitreat." And this guy was in tears.
Exactly.
he was in tears. Okay, that is totally irrelevant, but that's
it's all right. It's all right. I see your sense of humor can be driven into any conversation. And thank you so much for coming on board. For those who do not know, Saumu Kombo launched her recent EP. We highlighted it here last week, and therefore get onto YouTube. And how can they find to watch your stuff, Saumu?
YouTube, Kombo Saumu. Yes, I actually post most of my stuff on YouTube. Also, I own a company with a friend of mine. It's called Z Art Media. And in the next few months, we'll be releasing episodes of short films, but told through spoken word and a fusion of other arts. We're talking about a lot of issues, by the way. There's suicide, there's depression among men, there's rape, a lot of issues that we'll be talking about. So guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kombo Saumu. On Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Kombo Saumu. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be looking forward to see what you have in store for us. And the final words again from my co-host of the night, who made this more of a conversation than just a Q&A session. Eshuchi, wewe tunakupata kwa YouTube channel gani?
Mimi Eshuchi Lumumba everywhere. Wende YouTube, wende Facebook, wende Instagram, Eshuchi Lumumba. I have I'm an artist as well. Probably wasn't introduced as one, but well, yes, on the poster it shows. So you can also watch a little of a few of my content over there. And I'm still working on a few things early. Kuna kitu nashughulikia. I will let you guys know. Thank you so much for being supportive fans out there and being viewers, man. It's been real. It's a pleasure.
And definitely it's a pleasure. For everyone that joined us in the comment section again, shout outs to you, Kipro Roda. Wewe ndio unakuaga fan number one. We should make a homecoming for you. Actually, we should prepare a blue tent and a nice high table for you. Kaege tu hapa na sisi throughout the shows. Thank you so much for always being there. She says, great show, very educative. Definitely that's what we want and we intend to do here. We educate, engage, inform, and entertain. The four of those makes Art in Heart what it is. So definitely see you again next week, same place, same time. Remember the hashtag is Art in Heart, responding to live and creative space. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube with the same handles, The Art in Heart on Facebook, The Art in Heart Official on YouTube. Until next time, ninakuacha with this one that this gentleman was supposed to share. Na labda tuongelea vitu Nyoshichi ameongelea hapa, watu kukula fare za wenyewe na wewe uko na pesa na stress inakuchapa. But then again, it is what it is. Good night, God bless you, and have a good one.
Ni Cykam Storyteller. Leo niko na story ya crush fulani. Alikuwa anaitwa Maria but sikuwa msho nampenda. Niliambia utamwa crush ni kutomwambia, so singemsho nampenda. Ningemshoaje nampenda yet alitaka tunde dates klabuni na mie diliko kwa mind ilikuwa samo kanisani, so ningemshoaje nampenda. Ningemshoaje nampenda yet alitaka twende KFC kula kuku na mie diliko kwa mind ilikuwa simple day to Huru Park, so ningemshoaje nampenda. Ningemshoaje nampenda yet kila time akini text alikuwa anataka pesa ya weave na mimi nilikuwa na try at least the save ni treat kwa birthday yake, si inakuanga Christmas Eve, so ningemshoaje nampenda. Ningemshoaje nampenda yet kila time nikimhitaji alikuwa mteja and only available akihitaji rent ya keja, so ningemshoaje nampenda. Ningemshoaje nampenda yet Kila time nikimtext alikuwa ananikulisha blue ticks, na that was not the same reaction nikimnulia pair of blue jeans. So ningemshoaje nampenda yet nikiprepare romantic surprises nilikuwa napata shaenda date na bestie wake. So ningemshoaje nampenda yet ila time nilikuwa msick nikiwa hosi, nilitaka nione, nikamtumia fare kuje kuniona akakula. So ningemshoaje nampenda? Singemshoa nampenda. Nilianza ku let go, nikaanza ku move on,